I'll tell
Like
you,
that shirt, that T-shirt.
I'll tell you again during the show. Welcome, everybody. It is not Sunday night. It's Monday night. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day from NGSC Sports. In the batter's box from myself, Ralph Garcia, my partner, of course, John Doucette, wishing all of you out there happy Labor Day. Thank you for all of those who have made days like this possible. Let's try to remember at election time, we can talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Let's honor what's right. And always honor the military who somehow, some way, like firefighters and policemen, just got this mindset of the buildings burning, they're shooting up. Let's run right into it. Let's go right to it. Heroes like that can never be replaced. I hope you're all getting fat. I did move my diet away for one day. So
cheeseburger delight, man. Tonight.
Let's eat and enjoy, even though I did grill cabbage. So that's healthy. That's healthy. All right. Remember the website. It is ngscsports.com, where you catch all of your current content. Log on to the website at this time. You will catch what? Kathleen D., one of our contributing writers, who, John, she can be pushy. She tells me, you going to post my piece? Where's my live link? Hey, I had to tell her, Kathleen, you post your stuff for free. Take it easy, girl. I'll post it as soon as I get to it. But thank you, Kathleen, for your contribution. Lately, she gives us two. First one is I can't see it. Why? All right. The second one is the evolution of office chairs from classic designs to modern ergonomics. And Alejandro had a look on his face like, what the fuck is that?
NGSC in the sports page?
Yeah, there you go. Yes, there you go.
Hey, I guess. I mean, you're throwing a curveball. So, I mean, I'm good with
his was called Business Smarts. And I'm not going to take credit for Business Smarts. We just lucked out and figured this part out. Content, Alejandro, content, original content. And sometimes you got to go out of the box. I got a political show on a sports network, Poppy. So, we're out the box here. Bradley Walker. Shout out to
Rob.
Yeah, what?
Rob, we're not live in Facebook.
We're not live.
For some reason, yeah, it's not.
No. Yeah, we're live.
Oh, you have it in your page.
No. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Let me move it over. I'll do that in a second after the intro, and then you guys will take and I'll start sharing it. I should have done that. Can I do that? Wait. Can I do that?
No, actually, not even in your page.
No, wait, Poppy, wait. Might be able to do it. Technology is amazing. Huh?
Yes.
Technology is amazing. Give me a second, Alejandro. 3, 2, 1, bam! Live on NGSC Sports Facebook page. So Bradley Walker, shout out to Bradley Walker, works a long week. John, rightfully so. John was messaging me during the week like, hey, Brad ready, because it's like he's going to have a long day. This guy is telling about. And he had a long day, John. He had a long day. He had an 11-hour day as Bradley covered the Tampa Bay Rays game first and ran out of there and made it down the road over to USF to cover the South Florida football game. And then he got sick on us. You went a little too hard, Brad. So get some rest, Brad. Brad gives us USF Bulls a great start to the 2024 season with a big 48-3 victory. And Sammy Sportface gives us 33 years later, after playing hooky, Skins in the Super Bowl. They're the Commanders now, but I guess he's allowed to call them the Skins. All that and more in GSC Sports. Where we never stop, we're a little behind, but we're going to make up for it right now. It is Major League Baseball. It is September 2nd, 2024. And really the only thing that matters in baseball right now is who gets in and who doesn't. Yeah, we're going to go with the individual statistics. Who's going to be the MVP? Who's going to be the Rookie of the Year? Is Ohtani? Is Judge? We cover all that in the Major League Baseball Roundup. as we start, but it's all about first place, second place, third place, wild card, who's making it, who's not, who's close, who's not. So we started up. It is the MLB Roundup, top stories across the league. John wanted to start with a good one. John sends me, and he sends us the kind of like agenda. It's his portion of the agenda each week. And John, I got to admit, when I saw this one, I was like, "Oh, okay, hold on, that's a good one." So John asked, "Are the Brewers the best team in the NL?" Pray tell John why you asked that question.
Well, he asked that question because they've got the biggest lead of anyone in any division. And they will, in all likelihood, be the very first team that clinches a playoff spot at some point here in September. They may do it sooner rather than later. They won again today and snapped a very brief losing streak after having their 5-game win streak yesterday snapped by the Cardinals. They turned around today and won. We're talking about a team that's got the 22nd highest payroll in Major League Baseball. And we're also talking about a team that at any time during the season has had 6 rookies in their lineup. They've used 17 starting pitchers already, which is a franchise record, and have a manager in Pat Murphy, who I believe will be the manager of the year in the National League by the time it's all said and done. Everyone has talked about the Phillies and everyone has talked about the Dodgers, and rightfully so, for a variety of reasons. But the Milwaukee Brewers, I think, are the team and the obstacle that both the Dodgers and Phillies will have to not only deal with, but I think fear.
And Alejandro, as you give me your take on the Brewers, because I'm damn sure want to hear what you got to say on this topic. Yeah. But I wanted you to make sure that you touch on something that has to do with this. It's really something. As we go through the years on this show and we watch baseball, everybody's going to talk about the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets. Okay, the Braves. But it's so much fun to watch teams like the Brewers and the Rays be able to take these minuscule payrolls compared to the giants of baseball and build a consistent, I want to say winner for lack of better words, because is it a winner if you don't win postseason games of the World Series? But it does count in baseball and in any sport because you can't win the title every year. They keep building these consistent teams, good teams, farm systems, the right trades, the right move. Are the Milwaukee Brewers, as John asked, the best team in the National League?
I wouldn't say the best team. I mean, I say probably lucky because they play in that division.
Yeah,
that division is I mean, it's kind of weak. Well, kind of a disaster right now. But one thing that you have to give credit to Pat Murphy and the Brewers is like they finding pieces that keeps their consistency throughout the year. When it's not pitching. When it wasn't Yelich that was hot, right? They passed the torch to Willie Adames. Willie Adames is hitting home runs. Like, I mean, he had like 30 home runs, close to 100 RBIs, and it's a guy that you never hear mentioned for an MVP. When it's not Willie Adames, then the one that gets hot and carry the team is Jackson Chourio, which is a young kid. 20 years old, right? It's a 5'2" type of prospect. When it's not that, it's Turang, the second baseman, shortstop. They got a lot of pieces. They got a lot of pieces that they might not be hot at the right everybody in the one time, right? But they keep getting guys hot consistently. I don't know if you catch my drift, and that's actually a bonus, and especially in that division. But in terms of like best team, I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't take anything away from the Dodgers, and especially the Phillies. The Phillies seem to have everything working for them. But yeah, I mean, Pat Murphy has done, in my opinion, to me, probably the best managerial work in the National League.
And Louis, you know, you and I, we spent a lot of time talking about the AL Central and the NL Central. And one thing, Louis, we've been guaranteed on this show until now. I've got a bad memory, but I believe if my memory serves correct, every year until now, we've been able to joke about the AL and the NL Central. It's the first season. It's the first season we can't, Louis. 81 wins from the Milwaukee Brewers, and they might have an argument for the best team, Louis. What do you think?
Pretty much, yeah, because like I said, they have the biggest lead in any division right now, so they do stand a good shot. Although I think maybe Philadelphia, I might have something to say about
You would
that.
have
Maybe
something to say about that. Yeah.
On paper, I
Dodgers
mean, they
on paper. Yeah, and the Dodgers, but of course the Dodgers can beat themselves too. So I'm gonna have to eliminate that. But Philadelphia, I think may have something to say with it because they're, they have a comfortable lead in the division. I mean, it could change in a week or two, but for right now, they seem to be in a very comfortable spot. As September rolls on, I don't really see them relinquishing the lead that much. So the Cardinals, yeah, but my second choice, if I had to make a second choice, it would be the Philadelphia Phillies because no one really, I think, expecting to, they were the surprise team, I think, in the National League this year, or at least in the
the
NL
Phillies?
East.
The Phillies?
The Brewers.
The Phillies or the
Well,
Brewers? He's saying the East.
Who?
You can't
well,
surprise
no,
like the Phillies are not surprisingly good.
No,
They're
I hope
good.
not. I hope not because I
Wow.
was going to not the Phillies. You said the Phillies are the surprise team or the Brewers?
I
well,
mean, you
Brewers,
have Nola and you have
Yeah, the
Wheeler.
Brewers.
That's all you need, actually.
Because
the Brewers
John,
are the surprise team, I think, in
right.
the Central.
Because John, my thing with the Brewers is this, and I like your argument. I like the argument, and I'm going to add to this. Alejandro just brought it up, thinking that Louis was talking about the Phillies. The Phillies are right where everybody expected them to be. Nobody
that's what they
expected
belong.
anything except the Phillies, but to be in the lead in the NL, and they're going to lead it all the way through, and they're going to win the NL East. Just like when you go to the NL West, we don't have to talk about that. We know what we expect. John, it was at a point when we were at the All-Star break and coming back from the All-Star break when we started taking a look at the NL Central, AL Central too, but in this case, of course, the Brewers, the NL Central. And we saw what they were doing. The question was at that time, could they maintain it? Because they had already surprised most of the prognosticators up to that point. So the question was it a fluke? It hasn't been a fluke, John. What has Milwaukee done to be able to maintain this, and can they into October?
Well, the first thing they've done is the next man up with the starting pitchers. I mean, again, with 17 that you've used, which is a franchise record, their ability to be able to dip into their farm system and find
keep everybody fresh
to come up and get the job done for them and keep them where they are has been very impressive. And again, with a lineup that from time to time features 6 rookies in it, these guys are growing up in front of everybody's eyes and doing a very good job of doing that. And again, the Milwaukee Brewers are putting themselves in a position where they're going to have potentially at least the second best record in the National League, which means they'll get the bye going
guarantee the bye
playoffs. And I think that becomes a very big advantage for them as well. The ultimate question is going to be, will the bright lights of the big stage become a very difficult thing for the thing of this team to deal with? And the only way you're going to find that out is to actually put them in that stage and see what happens. But I still believe that in a short series, that team is going to be a beast to deal with.
That's a good point.
Probably like somehow like Arizona did last year.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with these teams. That's the thing with these teams that I see. The Rays, of course, were able to overcome one and win a World Series. But the Brewers, and who did you just say right now, Alejandro? You just brought up another team.
Arizona. We talked about
like the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, making these runs, but they can't seem to get over the hump. And I don't think Arizona has a problem with the big lights. But John, it's not the same.
They love that.
No, they love the big light. Now with Milwaukee, John, it's not the same team that was competing several years back. It's another team. So and got some players. But I wonder if they're ready for that moment. I don't know when you got the Phillies and Dodgers in front of you. I don't know.
Well,
I think the Brewers.
Phillies, it is their starting.
Go, John.
That has been the catalyst of this team really from the get-go.
Yeah.
And they demonstrated over the weekend in taking that series from the Braves, the way that Zach Wheeler pitched on Saturday night, and then the way Aaron Nola did it again last night. Their starting rotation is very deep. Their starting rotation has been healthy all year. They're averaging about 6-7 innings every time they go out there. And so that bullpen has been, for the most part, not used the way it's been with other teams that are either in contention or not in contention. But again, I think in Milwaukee's case, not enough attention is being paid to what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I think because of that, they have the ability to sneak up on teams and in a short series beat them.
It's going to be interesting to watch. Go ahead, Alejandro, as we finish this
Oh
out.
no, I also think like the magic of Pat Murphy doing the work, and he feels the pressure. You got teams like the Pirates, you got teams like the Reds that they quite young, but they right on the tail of the Brewers. You have like this short window because you have also like Willie Adames is going to be a free agent. I don't know when Peralta is going to be a free agent, but you have that, and it's kind of a short window, and you have to perform now. So I think that could make that team very dangerous on the playoff, especially this year, because they playing fundamental, and that's a beautiful thing to watch. But that division was a joke this year. The Cardinals with the fiasco management that they have, they kind of gave away that division. Also, the Cubs kind of died down
They
towards
faded
middle.
away. They faded away. Yeah.
Yeah, but also you have you have the Pirates. The Pirates is a team that has a lot of upside, and hopefully they could keep that core of players together for a long time. And you also have the electricity of the players and with the Reds, and they coming up, and that division is probably going to be fun to watch within the next couple of years. So like Pat Murphy's window is kind of short here.
Right.
He needs to be dangerous now.
Good point. Good point. Now, John had a second good question. This is how I'm going to handle this question. I don't have the stats, and I'm going to think that Louis doesn't have it either. John has them in front of him. I know it. But I want to get Louis's opinion first. Actually, I'm going to give mine first and then Louis. John asked another good question. Is Joey Votto a Hall of Famer? Okay, so of course I know Joey Votto and what he did, and we wouldn't ask this question if the guy wasn't good, right? But I am not going to go with it. I don't know the stats. Again, I'm going to hear them in a minute, but I don't think so. That's my first impression when I look at Joey Votto's career as a whole. The one thing that's bad about asking if a player like Joey Votto on his level, my opinion, on his level, if he's a Hall of Famer, is when you play for a team that really didn't win. So now I have to base that on your numbers. I didn't make the final decision. I'm saying based off the fact that I don't know his numbers yet, the answer is no. I wanted to ask you, Louis, based on the fact that you probably don't know Joey Votto's numbers, but seeing Joey Votto's career, in your opinion, is he a Hall of Famer?
Well, he hasn't been on. He has had too much high numbers. I would probably have to say no. I don't think he's Hall of Fame material. Well, at least not right now. Maybe they can maybe reconsider like maybe down the road. But as a first ballot Hall of Famer, no, I don't see that. I mean, he's not. He's not.
No,
like,
just the Hall of Famer, not first ballot, just the Hall of Famer. But I agree with you, Louis. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, he's there, but he's not. Like a mega superstar. Like with battling like 85 home runs a year and 30,000 base. Well, that's just an exaggeration figure, but you get the idea. I mean, he's not a superstar. I mean, he's a good player and whatnot, but I don't know if he's like the superstar Hall of Fame material.
Alejandro?
I think he is. He's not going to go first ballot. He's going to get, most likely he's going to be in there hanging out for a few years. But when you look at the way they voting players now is with the WAR, right? Borderline Hall of Fame is a 60 WAR. Joey Votto is 64.2, I think. That makes him borderline. And for a guy that played first base, one of the positions that don't accumulate a lot of WAR points, his numbers are not bad. I mean, he has an OPS of like 920. So you combine that with like his other numbers. Yeah, sure. He doesn't have 3,000 hits. He doesn't have 400 home runs. He had like 350 something. But so Helton is there. That opens the door for guys like Votto to go in.
John, make your case.
Well, no, I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer. I really do.
Okay. We all agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a borderline Hall of Famer. He did win the MVP award in 2010, which does help the individual resume. He does have a career batting average of 294, which also helps the individual resume. But he's only got 3 30 home run seasons. That doesn't help the individual resume.
I'm surprised at that.
He did lead the league in walks from 2008.
Oh.
That helps the individual resume. He does have over 2,000 hits for his career. That also helps the individual resume. His home run total is 356, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And that basically doesn't help the resume. The point is that Joey Votto's got some things that can help his resume. He's also got things that could hurt the resume. And I think the comparison being made to Joey Votto would be Buster Posey. But the problem with that is that Buster Posey was a part of 4 championship teams. And that's going to push Buster Posey above Joey Votto and put him in the Hall of Fame.
Of course.
So the comparison between Posey and Votto really can't be made.
No.
That's
because of that.
You're finding guys that are in the Hall of Fame that you can make the argument with or toward. And I think that's what's going to delay his potential induction into it. I mean, Votto doesn't get on the Hall of Fame ballot until 2029. And so there's plenty of time to dissect the resume and figure out whether it's worthy or not. But I think he's a borderline Hall of Famer at best. And the other thing is the amount of games that he lost due to injury, especially toward the back end of his career. I think that's also something that's going to be held against him.
But I think he's taking a sponge. He's taking a sponge with Tel Helton. I think Tel Helton and Joey Votto have similar careers. And actually, when you look at the overall value of Joey Votto, it's way greater than
at least Todd Helton
by like 4 points.
Right, and Todd Helton did get a chance to play in the World Series. That helped, even if it was a very short stay. At least he got there, and it helped him.
Right.
Votto's individual resume's got holes in it that I think is going to make it difficult for him to get there. Welcome
to In the Batter's Box. It is September 2nd, 20.
The roasting of Joey Votto.
No. It is. Play along. Welcome to In the Batter's Box. It is September 2nd, 2039. Year number 24 for In the Batter's Box. It is still John Doucette, Alejandro Vargas, and Louis still with us, and we're a whole lot older. We asked the question on this day 15 years ago if Joey Votto would ever get into the Hall of Fame, and lo and behold, today, after 10 years waiting, he's in. All right, I was just practicing.
Help from the Veterans Committee, to be quite honest about it.
Yeah, I give it at least 10 years. At least the guy's going to wait about 10
years. Yeah.
That ballot. Yeah.
Gee, by that point, I'll be 69 years old. Yes.
I think the whole construct of the Hall of Fame, he doesn't have to do a lot with numbers more than he has to do with competition. Who you have in the ballot with you? Because you could go the way it looks right now. Who's retired this year that could put a challenge on Joey Votto? Because most likely the people that are on the ballot.
From ballots in, say, 28, 27, and 26, that could also get in his way, too.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, depending what what goes on in 5 more years, maybe like a Freddie Freeman retires, a Paul Goldschmidt, those guys, they need to be in the Hall of Fame before Joey Votto.
And that's what's going to get in his way too. The guys who are going to get in afterward that are going to get in his way. Now,
so hopefully at the time he's eligible, he doesn't have a lot of competition in there, and he could,
that's a good point.
A good window.
Yeah, that might stop him. By the way, last thing on Joey Votto. Question, real quick, guys: is it just me, or did we expect a better career from Joey Votto?
Better.
I think he had a better career from Joey Votto, just based on the fact that when he came up, which was 2007, the Reds were a pretty good team.
Yeah, and the expectations were greater, right? They were greater. They were set greater for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think injuries took a toll.
And it sucks. And it sucks.
And also everything has to do with the core you have surrounding you. Okay, he's there to lead the team into playoffs and things like that, but who's hitting behind? Like, that's the reason why he got walked so many times.
And let's be honest, guys. The Hall of Fame in any sport, in this case, of course, baseball, that's a hard puzzle to solve because so much goes into it. Unless
a lot of factors, man.
Right. Unless you just have one of those careers where, okay, fine.
Albert Pujols.
Right. You know there are guys who are just going in, period.
But the other thing about Joey Votto is he only topped 80 RBIs 8 times in his career.
Yeah. That's why I said he didn't live up to expectations. I expected more from the guy. I really did. Not the 356 home runs.
Another problem for him.
Yeah. The 350.
Well, he has an MVP, and he finished top 10 in the MVP at least 6 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, he was. He
was
a good player. Just the question is he a Hall of Famer? So that takes care of our.
Not right away.
Oh, he is, but a borderline.
That's fine. Okay.
It takes care of our MLB roundup. What you'll see now is how we'll finish the postseason out every week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with the MLB roundup. We'll have all the subtopics in our MLB roundup. And then we'll start the second half, as always, with the race to the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
September 2nd. Listen, plain and simple. Every dugout, every team, every manager, every player, everybody on the staff, everybody in the organization knows it's September. This ain't no time for mistakes. You make mistakes now. You make mistakes now. Well, you can plan on you can plan on a long off season. Okay, if you don't make mistakes, you can start making your plans.
Talking about playoff races, what is going on in the AL Central?
I don't
like
know.
They switch leads all the time.
Did you read my mind? Mariposa? Did you read my mind? I think this.
Kansas wasn't top like 2 days ago.
John, you know what I want? I want a law. I want a law in Major League Baseball that deports the Chicago White Sox for the rest of the season. Send them to the Dominican Republic to get some.
How about for the next 5 years?
Baseball, and then just leave these 4 teams in the AL Central because it is fantastic what we're seeing. Go ahead, Alejandro. It's great.
Even Detroit has an outside chance to make it to the playoffs. Nah, it is like. Let me tell you something. I'm looking at the standings Friday, I think, and I see Kansas City Royals. I'm like, okay, they in there. Now the Twins got hot. Right now they 4-6, and Kansas City's kind of slowed down a little. But then Cleveland took off again. It is like it's no breathing room there. You cannot breathe in there because you have somebody riding your neck, and that division is getting too much fun to watch. Detroit is. I mean, they most likely they're not going to make it, but they showing.
Listen, they've made up 5 games on the Royals and 4 games.
They 8-2. They 8-2
in the last 10 games. Listen,
8-2 the last 10.
You know, John, when you go through your last 10 games and you go through your opponent's last 10 games, 7-3, 8-2, 6-4, usually 5-5, 6-4. You gain 5 games and 4-4 on those above you. I look like Alejandro at the standings, John. I went straight to the AL Central. I know we're going to talk. Wait a minute. What the hell are the Detroit Tigers doing there? John,
you speaking this from the AL East, actually, from the East.
Right. John.
Well, first of all, the Tigers took advantage of a weekend in which they took 2 out of 3 at home from the Red Sox, while the Minnesota Twins were struggling at home with the Blue Jays, and the Kansas City Royals were getting swept by the Astros. So that's how the Tigers put themselves into the competition. Now, this becomes a very, very important week for several teams. First of all, the Minnesota Twins began a 7-game road trip today in Tampa Bay.
In
They
Tampa.
play 4 against Tampa Bay, and then over the weekend they'll play 3 in Kansas City against the Royals.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Oh, this is huge. This is huge.
Royals, they are playing the Guardians right now and began that series today, and they were losing late in that game today. And then you have the Detroit Tigers, who are starting a series with the San Diego Padres today. And meanwhile, the Red Sox were in New York to play the Mets, and then over the weekend they'll be home to see the Chicago White Sox. So they get a bit of a break once the weekend arrives.
Mm-hmm.
So these 4 teams this particular week becomes very, very important because there's going to be swings here. There's no question about it. You're going to have with Minnesota and Kansas City playing each other, somebody's going to end up losing that series. And
definitely,
so it's going to provide a Detroit and even a Boston with the opportunity to come even closer than where they are at the moment. If the Guardians can help out by taking the Royals out in the early portion of this week, that's going to help Detroit and Boston out as well. And so by the time
because Boston is 4,
you could have a completely different setup than what you have right now.
Yes.
Hey, Louis. And I forgot, we're going to look at the American League first, guys. I'll look at the AL.
Yes.
Louis.
Seattle just entered the dance too.
I'm going to give you. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Hey, Louis, I'm going to give you some shocking breaking news.
You hate the Yankees.
The Chicago White Sox in their last 10 games are 0-10.
Yeah, I know. Losers.
108 losses with 23 games to go. 23 games.
Not only that,
and they need 13 losses in 23 games to break the record. And listen, guys,
it's very doable.
Very doable.
And people think that Tony La Russa was a problem.
They're not going 10. They're not going 10 and 13. They're not going 10 and 13 in the final 23 games, guys. Okay, they'd be lucky. They'd be lucky to win 5 games. Okay, so if they get another 15 to 18 losses, we're looking at a 123 to a 126 loss team, Louis. That's a
all-time
traffic attach.
That's
exactly. Yeah.
I look, John, at the Central here. You know, again, the Tigers, a nice run, and that was great what you did there because you really broke it down how they were able to make such a gain so fast. They got a lot of help, and you're right. More than likely, we're not looking at the Tigers. We're not looking at the Tigers making a threat there. But
they
make the case of a Cy Young possibility. The longer Tigers can stay in this, the better off it's going to be for him to potentially get that reward.
Yeah, but here we are, the Guardians, 79 and 59, the Twins, 74 and 62, the Royals, 75 and 64. This is one of those things, guys, that we didn't see coming.
Today, did the Guardians beat the Royals? I mean, what happened today?
Okay, well let's see. Let's go to the scoreboard. Folks, how about that?
They won today. Oh, I don't know.
Tells me here. I got you. What are we looking for? Which one? Guardians. It's a final 4-2 over the Royals.
4-2. Yeah.
Okay.
Guardians win 4-2.
There it is.
What are the other games, John?
Minnesota, Tampa Bay.
Minnesota, Tampa Bay. It is top of the third in Tampa Bay. Minnesota's up 4-2.
4-2.
And then the Red Sox and they're playing the Mets at the moment. They're
end of 2-1-0 Mets and top 4 Padres 1, Tigers 0 for you Tiger fans.
Yeah.
By the way,
the Tigers is the fact.
I mean, you can't
because Dylan Cease pitched yesterday in Tampa Bay, so they won't see Dylan Cease. The bad news is Skubal pitched against the Red Sox on Saturday, and so he won't pitch in that series either.
So I'm going to get this over with because I really don't want to talk about this. Okay.
Right.
God, I hate the Yankees. It's like I'm never going to get a freaking. I'm never going to get a losing streak here. It's like it doesn't seem to happen, Louis. Look, I'm going to give it to you, Louis. I'm not. You know, I like to talk as much shit as I can about the Yankees. Any chance I get, I'm going to do it. But I'm also going to give them props where props is due. Louis, what's going on in the Bronx, man? Damn, this team is good.
Yeah, maybe even too good. I mean, we got our hitters back. Our pitching's gotten better. And well, except for this weekend series, that was a little bit of a downside. You know, but for the most part, we've done well. After a horrible July, we bounced back in August. So, and we have the lead over the team that formerly sucked, the Orioles. And but they're making cases. They have a game and a half lead right now. But of course, the Orioles have been breathing down our necks, since day one of the season, and it's gonna come down to that. It's gonna come down to who has the best pitching, who has the best hitting, and it's just gonna be a 1-2. It's gonna be a 1-2 battle for the between who gets the top spot in the division and who gets the wild card. Either way, it's gonna happen with those two. One's gonna get the division, one's gonna get the wild card.
When we get the wire, and Alejandro, as much talk as there's been, and rightfully so, about the Yankees and what they've been able to do. Of course, there's been no surprise as far as the bats are concerned. The big surprise in the Bronx, of course, is what the pitching has been able to do for the Yankees. We talked about that at the beginning of the year, and I think we were pretty much convinced that it wouldn't hold up. And here it has held up all year long. I think these guys are pitching now on freaking adrenaline. It's like everything's going so well, and when things go well, But before, I want you to address this too. But with all the talk about the Yankees, and again, rightfully so, the Orioles have 80 wins. One more win than them, tied in first place. Damn,
they tied in first place right now.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go a battle all the way to like last day, maybe for them. The way it's projecting to be. It's like never. They don't let up. I mean, the Yankees, I think they lost 2 in a row, right? Orioles are like so let's see tonight. Tonight they could take advantage of Texas and maybe keep an even kill there because Baltimore just destroy. Who did they destroy? Like I think they scored like 13 runs off the White Sox. So they have an easier schedule there for the beginning of this week. But I think that's not going to end up this week. I mean, that's not going to end up anytime soon. That battle for the East, and one of them will get probably the first wild card. The way everything is set up in the Central. I also don't want to leave out Seattle. Seattle, I know they've been through a rough patch, right? But they have outstanding pitching, and when you have pitching. All you need is 3-4 runs, and if they could muster 3-4 runs from here on, they might get in the dance too. Detroit might get in the dance too. It's getting beautiful right now.
Like the Beatles used to say, if you have pitching, all you need is love.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
Love is all you need. Louis, it's going to be interesting as John sits in. John, we were talking, John, about the fact that as we delve into the AL East real quick before we go into the AL West and move to the National League, all the talk with the Yankees, we talked at the beginning of the season, fully expecting, knowing what we were expecting on paper with the Yankee lineup with their bats. The question, of course, was the Yankee glove, the Yankee arms, the Yankee pitching that came through in the beginning of the season, and somehow John has come through, and obviously I'm hating it, but Yankees and with all the hoopla, the Orioles got 80 wins, John. They're still there too.
Yeah, but it's only a half game that separates the two, and for all the opportunities that the Yankees have had to extend this lead and to create some space for themselves, they haven't been able to do it. And this past weekend, losing 2 out of 3 of the Cardinals at home didn't help their cause either. And do remember, by the middle of September, the Yankees will make another trip to the West Coast. They'll see Seattle, and they'll have to make that 3,000-mile trip.
Yeah.
So this time really doesn't help the Yankees going forward here, like it's going to help teams that are in the playoff setup, and that could be how the Orioles and win that division. Again, as I said before, and we'll say again, if the Yankees have to go through the wild card, it's going to be a short stay.
Oh, definitely. Especially when they go to Seattle. If they have to pay Castillo, they have to pay Kirby and Gilbert. Right. Oh shit.
No.
I have a nightmare just thinking about that. You
I'm
can't
getting
get to
nightmares
those
right
three
now.
guys. You can get to those three guys and expect them to win 2 out of 3. It's not happening.
You guys got me. You guys got me thinking.
It's very interesting that the Yankees ended up being the last team in the East, and in the middle of September, no less, to finally make the West Coast trip.
All right, guys. You got me
Strange.
thinking. You got me thinking. So let's take a look at the Yankee schedule. And it looks like this. So, of course, today they're with the Rangers now on a 3-game set.
Mhm.
Let's follow this weekend at Chicago with the Cubs. That's a 3-game set, and then it starts happening. You've got a big 3-game set at home with the Royals. That's going to be a big one right there. Then the Red Sox come in town for 4.
Mhm.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen with that. And then 4. That's right. And then it's the trip out west, which is Seattle for 3, the A's for 3, and then they close out.
Come
September.
on.
They close out.
Didn't
September.
they play the A's like
They
a little
close
bit ago?
out September with 3 at home versus the Orioles, followed by 3 at home
Oh boy.
versus the Pirates. So listen, it's not all hunky dory. And to close out the season, there are no games for October. Season ends in September, John.
Yeah, the last Sunday in September.
That's
29th.
Well, that's I'm not going to say it's not a gauntlet, but
There's definite potholes there that they're going to have to.
Yeah, that's a little steep mountain to climb right there, right, bud? But hey, listen.
But the good news is that by the time they see the Pirates, they probably don't see Paul Skeens.
Right.
Yeah.
And we then take a moment here before final thoughts. Let me take a look at the National League. Of course, the Phillies basically have held the rest of the National League East in check. Of course, big help was Ronald Acuna Jr. injury to the Atlanta Braves, which sent their season into turmoil. The New York Mets, my New York Mets, listen, I'm proud of you guys. It was a horrible start to a season. And not only was it a bad start, it looked like it was a beginning of a long nightmare season. And somehow these Mets have been able to turn it around. They're a game out of the wild card spot. We've talked about the Milwaukee Brewers, what they've done. The Dodgers holding 5-game leads over the Diamondbacks and the Padres, both playing good baseball as well. Alejandro, I turn it. Oh, John, you already started. Go. National League.
You got to give the Dodgers a lot of credit. They went to Arizona and they took care of business. And they took care of business.
They did.
They really set themselves up to win that division a little bit more comfortably than maybe they could have a week, 10 days ago. But they did lose Clayton Kershaw again. He was put on the injured list on Saturday night. And I think, frankly, in Kershaw's case, I think the time has come to take the uniform away from him and just allow him to go home and stay there. I just think that body is falling apart at a rapid rate. And the idea of him doing anything for this team, it'll be very interesting to see if the Dodgers even consider putting him on the playoff roster, because I think there are reasons not to do it. But again, they went to Arizona. They took 3 out of 4. They pretty much eliminated the conversation that the Diamondbacks could find a way to win that division from them. It's probably not going to happen. The Mets, you got to give them a lot of credit. Yes, this weekend they took care of the Chicago White Sox like everybody's been doing, while the Braves were having all sorts of problems with that Philly starting pitching based on what Wheeler did Saturday night, what Nola did last night. And so the Mets, yes, are within a game of the Braves. And there will be a 3-game series between those two teams in the middle of September that are all
the
wild card, and which one does not. So give them a lot of credit for hanging in there. And I mean, look, they could have gotten rid of Pete Alonso, and I'm sure that there were people in the organization that they back early in the season thought that probably would be a pretty good idea. But they kept Alonso, they kept that team together. It has paid off, and they've now put themselves in a position where the possibility does exist that both the New York teams could be in the postseason come October.
You hear that, Louis? Louis,
Yeah,
you heard that, Louis?
Possible.
Louis,
It's possible.
listen, them Yankees, okay? Hey,
I know.
Louis, I want to go to Louis first, Alejandro, because I know you're going to break me down something. Louis, your thoughts now? Your thoughts on the yeah, you're gonna break something down for me. Louis, your thoughts on the National League, the race to the postseason, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Mets, Braves, Phillies. Hit it, Louis.
Phillies and Phillies and Braves have been the Phillies have a 5-game lead. The Mets have been, kind of a surprise too. I mean, considering how they started off the season 0-6, and kind of like they were like dead in the water by April 30th. Because I think a lot of people written them off. But what they've done since June has been, well, to me, sickening. But I know for a lot of Mets fans, they're rejoicing. First, I can throw up right now. But the Mets have been hanging there. There's 2 games out for the first wildcard spot from the Braves, which have been injury prone, and that's what's causing them because they're so injury prone that they have been losing, and the Mets are being healthy and they're catching up. So they just might be able to sneak in there and take that first wild card spot. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think they're going to catch Philly. I mean, they've been strong, for most of the season with minus a few little hiccups there. But I really do think coming down to it, I think the Mets can stay healthy and where they're playing. I think they just might overtake Atlanta.
Smart man.
Who, the Mets? Right, definitely. The Braves are it's like a hospital they have there. It's not only Acuna. You have Strider.
It's a
match. Harris are just it's crazy. It's crazy. I want to go back to the Dodgers a little bit, and there's something that we always you Ralph asked Louis about.
Who is the only team in baseball that can beat the Los Angeles Dodgers?
The Dodgers themselves.
There you go, Alejandro.
There you go. So we're gonna start up with that. I think the Dodgers. I mean, they have the pressure to hold on that into the division right now. They don't want to go to the wild card. And one of the things that I kind of noticed is like they pitching is also another hospital. They paid $300 and something million for Yamamoto, and the guy has been hurt. Now Kershaw is hurt. Dustin May is hurt. Walker Buehler, you don't know what to get with him. They got Flaherty. Flaherty, I think, look okay. But one key guy there that the Dodgers they need this kid to be on point is Bobby Miller. Mm-hmm. Gavin Stone, we know Gavin Stone is going to be an ace. But Bobby Miller, I mean, he had a great year last year, it's a rookie year. But this is a kid that they had to bank on to make it deep into the postseason. If not, they toast it because they don't have starting rotation. They don't have a good starting rotation besides Gavin Stone and maybe Flaherty. So they have to bank on that kid to pitch, and he looked okay the last couple of starts. But yeah, I think the Dodgers are going to end up beating themselves up.
And this is why I think the Dodgers, you would fear the Milwaukee Brewers if you're the Dodgers, because you don't have a starting rotation that could potentially handle that lineup, or for that matter, handle what Milwaukee possesses in pitching themselves. And again, the same thing you'd say about the Yankees is the same thing you'd say about the Dodgers. If they have to go through the wild card, it's going to be a short stay.
So to be honest with you, Ralph and John, the team that I see that's the most complete team in the National League is probably the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, it is.
You have to go through Nola.
They are absolutely.
And that bullpen.
Oh. Yeah, they are. Hey, John, I'm going to ask you a question based on something you said just a few minutes ago. You said something about if the Yankees have to go the wild card route. So I bring you this question, same one, different team. If somehow, some way, John, either the San Diego Padres, Arizona Diamondbacks catch and pass the Dodgers and win the West, and the Dodgers play as a wild card,
the same thing's going to happen. It'll be a short stay. Yeah. They just don't have the rotation. That's going to be the issue. They don't have the starting rotation.
And that might work on their favor because last couple of years they be getting the bye and they get destroyed right in the first round. Yeah, so you never know.
And I was going
They
there.
can come to another gear.
I went there because I'm going to go first for final thoughts. I went there for my final thoughts. How important we've watched the evolution of the game of baseball. We a stat-driven league and baseball analytics and all of this. And little by little, some of us feel taking away, like we don't focus much on the manager anymore and the managing of the game and the moves that have to be made, right? We constantly talking about the analytics and the stats, and because everybody's swinging for the fences, right? So, but the beauty of baseball, look at where we are. We just talked about two teams, the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Two fantastic baseball teams. Two teams in front in their division. But because the way the playoffs is set up, if your manager cannot manage that and his pitching coaches cannot manage that pitching rotation properly, cannot set it up so that it sets themselves up for preparation for the postseason, barring injury, because you can't help it when somebody gets hurt.
No.
If you don't have the rotation, mighty teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers, if they don't win their divisions, may not make it. And it goes to show you the emphasis of pitching still the most important aspect to me in the game of baseball. Because if you ain't got guys that can throw a baseball and can really throw a baseball 90 feet away, man, I don't care how much offense you got because the other team's going to keep outscoring you, okay? I mean, that's just the way it is. So my final thought is this. It is just wonderful to see, and it's going to be great to see the maneuvering and the managing as the season winds down. My nephew Rob, love you guys, nephew.
Thank you.
Love you more than you'll ever know, my little nephew. It's going to be very interesting as the season winds down to see the moves that are now made, because you look at staffs like the Yankees, look at staff like the Dodgers and others. You're going to have to be very careful the decisions that are made between now and the end of the season, because one slip, it may not cost you the postseason position. It may not cost you the postseason, but it'll cost you the position. Like John was just talking, they were talking for the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Well, the other thing is that's what makes Milwaukee and Philadelphia, what gives them just the great advantage here is because the earlier they can clinch their divisions and clinch the playoff spots, the earlier it's going to provide them the opportunity to put rotations up for the postseason. In the Yankee case, they're not necessarily going to be able to do that because the Orioles are right there with them. And in the Dodger case, well, they've just got too many injuries, and they've got to figure out who's going to do what, when, and why. So I think that's why for the Dodgers and Yankees, getting away from the wild card, not having to play that extra series becomes so valuable to them going forward, because Yankee Stadium is going to change because the weather is going to change. And that small ballpark is going to become a big ballpark. Balls that are home runs now are going to be caught on the warning track in October. And so things change. The Yankee inability to create offense has always been their problem. And I do think it'll be their problem again if they have to play an extra series, because you're going to play teams like Kansas City that know how to create offense. Minnesota knows how to do the same thing. And so that becomes a bit of a problem for them potentially going forward. And the Guardians can not only pitch, but they can hit and they can play defense. And that's going to be the ultimate team that everyone in the American League will eventually have to deal with. And in the National League, I think, again, the starting pitching that the Phillies possess is very good. It's very deep. Milwaukee has just figured out how to use not only their 25-man roster, but their 40-man roster to create what they have going for themselves.
Yeah.
And it gives them the advantage that at the moment the Dodgers just don't have.
Was that your final thought, John?
Yeah, it was actually, yes.
Very good. Louis, final thoughts.
Yeah. It's been a tight race all throughout the year between with the Yankees and the Orioles. It's gonna continue that way. It's gonna come down to who's got the best pitching to find who's gonna take the top spot. So it's gonna be a tough one there. And for the National League, looking at possibly a 2 or a 3 race here, but I still think with the Braves, suffering through injuries, and the Mets, have been soaring over the last few weeks. Don't be surprised if we do see the Mets climb in, sneak in, and take over the Braves spot. It's very possible. They're only 2 games behind them, so a lot can change within the next few weeks, even the next few days.
Yeah, this is weird.
They only one game. They only one game different.
Right, one game back.
Mets
last I checked, I'll check again because I thought it was 2, but now it's 1. Wow.
Yeah, this is where the loss column now becomes very important. It's not
very important
anymore. Yeah. It's now the loss column.
Louis, finish up, Louis. You good?
Yeah. I'm good.
Alejandro, final thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I was excited this week to see Red Lauder make his pitching debut, MLB. Of course, he didn't go the distance. You kind of expect that, but I like what they're doing with these young kids, and especially we were so engaged with NCAA baseball last year, and seeing these guys now make it to the majors. It's unbelievable, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy about Cincinnati and what they're doing with the farm system. Of course, that's a part it's kind of difficult to pitch in, but yeah, good to see Red Lauder. Also, Kuma Rocker is doing pretty well, man.
Yeah,
he got promoted to AAA. It was a guy that I was kind of look forward September call up, but there's a lot of maneuvering to do. So I think he's a guy that's projected to be up in the majors next year. Yeah, I like this young wave of kids, man, coming up and pitching the ass off.
Boy, just think of what the Cincinnati Reds could look like with a 1-2 punch of Hunter Green and Red Lauder as your top tier members of the starting rotation.
That could be scary.
Chase Zoolander is another guy that's making strides in Colorado. Of course, I don't want him. I don't want to see him with the Colorado Rockies and the MLB. Pitching in Coors Field, but it is what it is. Hopefully, he can manage.
Here's hoping.
He's doing good.
Here's hoping that Yankee pitching staff crumbles, and they get a wild card. We have a short season. It'll be a great show. Candy Robinson. Let me tell you something about Candy Robinson. Candy Robinson is the wife of my nephew, Rob Robinson. And as I told him many times before, hey nephew, you hit the jackpot with Candy Robinson, so please do yourself a favor. Don't ever screw it up. I love you, Candy. Thank you for joining us, everybody. This is In the Batter's Box. It is the NGSC Sports Weekly Baseball Show. I'm your host, Rob Garcia, joined by the co-hosts, as always, John Doucette, Alejandro Vargas, and Louis Tenor. Remember, catch Louis 4 to 6 p.m. Saturdays. It is the Enhanced Sports Show. I love you more, Candy. Much more. Hey, give that little girl a kiss for me. I'll see you guys around Christmas. That's my family, my son and daughter's family. My first family in Tennessee. Crazy bunch of people. Not her, the others. Remember the website. It is NGSCSports.com, where you catch all of your current content. The postseason is winding down. College football is underway. The NFL is
Thursday.
Back. It's back here in a couple of days, so let's get ready. And Louis will be talking some football every now and then. I'll let you know when we come on. Okay. Thank you for joining us, everybody, this evening. Until next week, as I always say, peace.
Peace.